Let me show you my ultimate puff pastry cheese straws. These are so addictive. Here we go. First, I'm going to grate 8 ounces of cheddar cheese. You could use mild, sharp, white cheddar, it all works. So once this is shredded, put it to the side until you need it. Now I'm going to create this flavorful egg wash, which sounds weird because you wouldn't eat it raw, but 2 large eggs going into a bowl. And now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I hope I said that right. I always second guess myself. 1.5 tablespoons of Dijon mustard goes in. I'm also going to add cracked black pepper. And now I'm just going to combine and mix everything well. And I'm making these today to show you a very easy appetizer for your holiday party or just if you want to eat these any day of the week. Okay, so in a bowl I'm adding a 1/4 cup of light brown sugar and 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Here I'm adding a 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika and I'm going to combine this. You might find this an odd mixture to put on cheese twists, but trust the process. This makes it ultimate. It just adds an extra layer of flavor to the texturally crispy, crunchy cheese twists and the sharp cheddar cheese. So good. Okay, so here I'm going to flour my work surface. And you're going to need for this recipe 4 sheets of puff pastry. I'm working with 2 right now, but the entire recipe calls for 4 sheets. So I'm going to dust this with flour and I'm going to take a rolling pin and just kind of flatten it out, make it even. And you want to make sure you dust everything with flour and you're working with cold puff pastry. If it gets too warm or thaws too much or too long, it's so hard to work with. So you still want it to be firm and cold. Okay, so I have 2 sheets here. Now I'm going to go and brush one side with the egg wash. And like I said, the ingredients I'm using today uses 4 puff pastry sheets. You can half this recipe if it's just for yourself or a small group, but this is a good amount for a crowd. Okay, so brush every square inch of this first puff pastry sheet. And you want to work with kind of like cold ingredients, like the eggs were cold. If everything gets too warm, it's so hard to twist. Okay, so now I'm going to sprinkle on my light brown sugar mixture. And again, you may find this weird, but trust me, it's so good. And you could add the ratios to your preference. I'm just going to do a light sprinkling. But if you really want a contrast to the sharp cheddar cheese, the Dijon mustard, and the light brown sugar, you know, add more. So now I'm going to go in with my shredded cheese and just sprinkle that. You want to make sure you cover the entire surface area of this sheet of puff pastry. And I'm also going to take my hands and kind of pat the cheese into the egg washed puff pastry sheet. Now I'm going to take the second puff pastry sheet and top this. And again, sort of gently press it together. And let me reiterate, if your dough is too warm, it starts to get gooey, so you might need to pop it into the fridge or freezer for a little bit to work with it. Preheat your oven to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I do 415 because my oven is not calibrated right. On a large baking sheet lined with parchment paper, this is where I'm going to put the twists. So I'm going to take my pizza cutter and just lightly dust it with the flour here on the side. Again, this is just to ensure that things separate easily and don't start to get stuck together. So I am going to start cutting thin strips of this puff pastry and cheese combination here, and this is what's going to make the straws. Out of this square of puff pastry sheets stuck together, you can get somewhere between 15 to 20 slices of this. It just depends how thin you get these. By the way, comment down below if you call these twists or straws. I mean, they could be either. So take one of your strips and twist them in the opposite direction, and then you'll want to pinch the edges to keep it in place. And just like that, you have created your straw/twist. And you can kind of pat it down and sort of flatten it a little bit to stay in place. But here we go again, twist into opposite directions. And then what you'll want to do is firmly press and pinch the ends to keep it together. And that's that. Now I'm going to take some more of my egg wash and just coat the top for each of these twists or straws. And I know a lot of food content creators are in like the whole Thanksgiving holiday mood, but I make these for movie night. We love these. So pop it into your oven, 415 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I want to show you, you can freeze these and make these ahead of time or just keep them in your freezer. And once they're frozen like this, you just remove them from the baking sheet and you put them in a freezer baggie and store them. And you know, you've got like a pre-made snack here that all you have to do is bake, pop in the air fryer, and you can actually cut these in half to fit into your air fryer to make it a lot easier. So yeah, put them in the freezer, make ahead, it's great. Okay, so these are definitely done. They smell amazing, and the best part is the texture and the combination of flavors. So you'll want to just let them cool a little bit before you plate them up, but check this out. Just crispy, tender, flaky cheese straws slash twists. So good. So I'm going to show you how I plate these. I like to just put them on a rectangular plate. Some people like to put them like in a tall, slender, like glass or cylinder shaped container. And you know, it all works. And I'm going to actually garnish these with fresh chopped parsley. And that's the appetizer, or that's the snack, or that's the, guess what? I just want to eat it for a meal because it's so good. I love these. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it. And thanks for watching.